You are listening to Studio MacGyver's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast.
Another Super Saiyan production.
Yo, it's your boy, Studio MacGyver, and you are listening to Studio MacGyver's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast. What's going on, guys? New listeners, welcome to the show. I hope that you guys enjoy what you're about to hear, and I hope to see you again next week and the week after that, and so on and so forth, man. It's been kind of a strange week. I'm really excited because, next week this time I will be playing Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. I'm going to dive so deep into that game. I cannot wait, man. I cannot wait for that game to come out. The Switch is really starting to pick up some fucking steam, guys. And, that's today's main subject of this episode is going to be the Nintendo Switch because unless you're hiding under a rock, then you've probably heard about the Switch, I guess, the Switch Lite. That's what they're calling it, the Nintendo Switch Lite. Some people call it Mini, but technically the correct term is Nintendo Switch Lite. There's been a lot of shit, controversy-wise, going on these last few days about this said subject, and I'm going to get all up in that shit this episode. But before I do that, I want to talk about a few other things that, I need to address. Not as important in my opinion, but, this is nerd culture. We talk about all things under that umbrella. And I want to kind of talk about a new Gundam game. It's been out for a while in Japan, but it's going to be coming out here pretty soon. There's no real date even when this game is coming. They just said it's coming this year, and I'm kind of anxious. It's a free-to-play game, okay? It's a free-to-play, MMO type of online Gundam game. And this is something that's got me excited, man, because I love Gundam. I've always loved games, especially surrounding, the Gundam, or not. They don't even have to be Gundam. They can be, it can just be mechs, the mech games like Virtual On. If you guys don't remember, there was a game called Virtual On back in the day, man, on the Sega, I want to say the Sega Saturn, one of my favorite all-time systems. But yeah, that game was only technically released in Japan. They're really, really big on mechs down in Japan. You know what I mean? They have a fucking Gundam, a giant-ass Gundam statue in Japan. I mean, they do shit like that, and that's what I fucking love about Japan, and that is on my bucket list as far as places to visit before I die, for sure, definitely. But this game is something that I've been wanting for so long. We've had a couple Gundam games here and there. One of my favorite Gundam games that I used to play a lot was on the PlayStation 3, and it was kind of it was basically a Dynasty Warriors with the Gundam license, but the game is so fucking awesome because you get to go through all of the stories, most of the stories in the Gundam series, because there's so many. And I learned a lot about a lot of those characters and a lot of those mechs by playing that game alone. You know what I mean? So, and my friends keep telling me, yo, you need to, jump on, Gundam. You need to fucking, jump on some of these stories. And I hear you. I watched the original story, loved it to fucking death. Matter of fact, my favorite all-time Gundam is the very first prototype Gundam. Yes, I think it's the RX-78-2 Gundam. I think that's the exact model, but that is my favorite Gundam. I love that Gundam. Just for the, look of it. I'm not into the complicated, over the top designs on some of these, new Gundams and stuff. I like my, Gundam simple, you know what I mean? Not too flashy color wise and everything like that. Just keep it simple. And that's one of the reasons why I love it, but also because, it's like one of the first, prototypes ever made. And it kind of started the Gundam story. While I'm sitting here talking about Gundam, though, I am currently watching Gundam The Origin, which is fucking awesome, which is fucking amazing. If you guys have Hulu, I don't know what other outlets it's showing on, but I know for sure it's on Hulu, and you can actually watch the dubbed version of it. It is on right now. I think I'm like 4 episodes in. I want to say it's 8 to 10 episodes. I didn't pay attention to the episodes, but I know it's a pretty decent size, and each episode is an hour per episode. And it basically, gives us the rundown of, the birth of the actual Gundam. You actually get to see, the prototype Gundams and how those things came to be. And I actually own the prototype Gundam kit, and I also own the RX 78-2 Gundam kit. I have yet to build those two kits. Eventually I'll get to it, but I had to pick those up when I saw them. I got them on Amazon, killer deal when I had them. I've had them for over maybe 2 years now, and I just hadn't got a chance to get around to put them together, man. I used to fuck with Gundam kits all the time back in the day when I was a kid. And, I kind of wanted to get a little bit of that nostalgia back. And why not do it with some of my favorite Gundams? You know what I mean? So, yeah, I picked those up. But, yeah, man, this game, though, let me get back to that. This is a free-to-play game coming. I wish we knew the exact date. But when it does come out, best believe I will be playing it. Best believe I will be covering something about this game. If I really like it, I might do some, something with the YouTube channel for it. And, it looks good. I mean, what I've seen so far of it, I mean, this is something that I don't know why we don't get this in the States, because there's a lot of Gundam fans out here, stateside, man, for real. They're really, really popular out here. And, man, I can't wait to play this game. I want to know what it's about. I want to see, what it entails. Apparently, the customization is out the wazoo. It's like a 6 versus 6 kind of battle royale type of thing. And then on top of that, you don't even have to have a mech to fight. You can also do things outside of, your mech suit. So that ought to be interesting. And I want to, figure out how that's going to be implemented. While we're talking about fucking mechs, though, there's a game that's coming out for the Switch, and it's called Daemon X Machina. And that game looks fucking wet. I played a little bit of the demo, and they talked, there's been videos since then, since the demo came out, and they've been talking to the devs, and the devs made a lot of changes since that demo because they were listening to the feedback of what the fans were saying about the game, and they changed a lot of shit for the better. So, this game has, it's, I guess the majority of the game, I'd say 60 to 70% is going to be about, in your mech suit, getting shit done, getting out there in those streets and doing what you have to do. But then there's still 30 or 40% of your character where you won't be in that suit. You can literally just step out of your suit at any given time and run around, and you have abilities as your, human form, outside of your suit as well. I think that's what makes the game also interesting, because you have a deep customization as far as, your mech is concerned and your individual, pilot. So I think that's awesome as well. So I don't know, man. I watched some gameplay on Nintendo's Treehouse, man, and the shit looks fucking wet. It looks awesome. And I think I'm going to have to add that to the library. And I think it's an exclusive too, if I'm not mistaken. There's so many games coming out now, man. It's hard to keep an eye on some of these exclusives, which are not. But this one seems to be an exclusive, and I will definitely be picking this one up, adding it to the library eventually. Hopefully sooner than later. I'm on a budget. If you guys don't know, I'm poor. So I have like a $165 game a month budget. If nothing comes out, the following month, I just roll it over. And, those will be days sometimes where I take advantage of, smaller games, maybe some indie titles that maybe I wanted to get my hands on, catch sales and stuff like that. So that's pretty much like what I'm kind of doing right now. So yeah, I mean, I have to choose very, very wisely. I have to really make the right decision at that time. I'm really mad right now because I want to play Mario Maker so bad. I want to make some levels so bad, and I don't know when I'm going to be able to get that game, because right now, like I told you guys before on the older podcast, the game right now I want to play the most is the Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. So I got my mind and my eyes set on that. And hopefully between now and August 30th, I can get my hands on Mario Maker. Yeah, that's the goal, because Astral Chain doesn't come out till August 30th. And that's my most anticipated game of the year. I cannot wait to play that game. I am so ready for that game. But, you know, since it comes out on the last day of August, you know, I might be able to slide, you know, Mario Maker in there somewhere around there. But, you know, I digress. I don't know, because I'm still also trying to get my hands on a capture card, and I want it to be a decent capture card. So it's going to cost me, you know, a good, at least $120. That's 2 full price games right there. So it's like, fuck, what do I do? You know, I think, you know, the capture card will come. I'm just going to put that on the back burner. But the games is our priority. But I want to get the capture card so that I can start doing content, you know, Nintendo content on the YouTube channel. And then it'll open up doors for, you know, my PlayStation 3 content, because I have a lot of stuff I would like to cover on that, you know, which is a Fight Night game that, you know, we'll probably never get, you know, again, who knows when we'll have another Fight Night game, at least done by EA, because one of my favorite games is Fight Night Champion, and that's on the PlayStation 3. And I just don't understand why we don't have another Fight Night game. We've had, you know, so many, you know, so many fucking, you know, MMA games come out. But I mean, goddamn, it seems like we cannot get a Fight Night game, a new Fight Night game. I understand how it works with the licensing of some of these fighters and whatnot. But if they're doing this shit with MMA fighters, then why not do it with the boxers as well? You know what I mean? I just think that the boxing fan and the boxing gamer, we're really missing out right now. I mean, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out is still one of my all-time favorite games of all time, forever and always. And, you know, Fight Night is definitely up there too, but we just don't get a lot of love for the game because developers don't want to make it. I say if we have another developer out there willing to take that chance, I would open my arms extra wide to have them create a boxing game. Just because EA is not putting it out does not fucking mean that it can't get made. So I'm waiting for a boxing game, period. You know, a AAA boxing game, another one of those to come out. And I don't give a fuck if it's EA or not. To be honest with you, EA has been pretty much peeing on everybody's head and telling us it's rain for the last few years now. And, you know, I could give a fuck if EA's doing it or not. That's just my opinion. And they better come correct with the Star Wars game, because if they don't, I'm going to be the one breaking out the warm butter. And I'm sure I won't be the only one, because right now I'm tired of getting fucked by EA, Activision, you know, Bethesda, motherfuckers like this who just happen to have tubs of butter in that back room, and you end up waking up, you know, dizzy, not knowing where you are. You're waking up with a sore butthole, and for some strange reason, there's always a tub of lukewarm butter, you know, in the vicinity. And you know, I think if we put 2 and 2 together, we already know what the answer to that is. Okay, we've just been fucked. And, you know, enough is enough with that. So, I don't know, man. I was talking about Gundam and I ended up, you know, talking about fucking EA. I don't know how I got here, guys, but yeah, it's crazy. Anyway, I just wanted to, you know, talk a little bit about the Gundam game that's coming out. So all the Gundam fans listening to this podcast, or if you're into mechs in general, man, you know, it's something to look forward to. It's free. And, you know, if you get enough people to play with you, man, I can see myself definitely sinking some hours into this game. So, you know, and I'm not one for, if you know me, guys, you know, I'm not one for, you know, a lot of online play, those free to play games, you know, cause you're looking for that dollar sign, you know, you're looking for that handout somewhere. Like, where is it hiding? So I don't know. We'll see when it gets, you know, when it gets here to the States, and I will definitely be covering that and letting you guys know, you know, my thoughts on that. Anyway, also on another note, guys, on a movie tip, you know, Aliens, we're getting a new Alien movie, and it's going to be, you know, focused on the engineers. Now, you know, when you talk to Alien fans, or when you read, you know, what's going on out here in these alien streets, it's kind of split. You got some people that say, you know, fuck the engineers, but then you got some people like me who are intrigued by the engineers, who've always been intrigued by the engineers and what they were about, what they stood for, why they were here, and some more of their history, you know. I think it's just an extra layer, an added layer of lore, you know, when you're talking about Alien the franchise. And I'm interested to find out, you know, more about these guys. Now, apparently, you know, if you are an Alien fan or you have seen the, you know, older movies, you know that most of the engineers have been wiped out. But apparently they're not the only engineers that were around. So there are other engineers out here in these streets, in these spaces, out here doing something, God knows what. But we're going to elaborate on that. They're going to elaborate on that, and we're going to get to find out. So I, for one, cannot wait to find that out. I just saw this. I was reading about this, that, you know, we have a new Alien movie coming, and it is going to be around aliens. I mean, I'm sorry, not the aliens, but around the engineers. And I got excited. So I thought I'd mention that to you guys. Because, you know, the Alien franchise is, you know, it's money. You know what I mean? So I'm just tired of seeing the same old, same old. Oh, new Alien, you know, this, that. How do they get rid of this alien? How did it sneak into the ducts of a spaceship? You know what I mean? Okay, let's get into some origin stories. Let's get into, you know, the true origin or something close to where the aliens, you know, came to be and how they came to be. And, you know, I want to find out. So just some movie news right there for you guys. If you did not know, now you know. Stranger Things season 3. Guys, I finished it. If you remember last episode, I told you guys that, you know, I didn't get a chance to finish it or whatever, but I'm going to get to it. Well, I did. I got into it, and I fucking, you know, binged it like I knew would probably happen. And I just got to say it was excellent. And I got to say, you know, there's going to be a 4th season. They set it up, you know, beautifully. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody who's still watching or hasn't finished it, or, you know, I typically don't like to spoil shit like that. You know, when a series is fresh still, so it's still relatively fresh. So I guess after July, if I want to come back around to it and talk about it, then I think that'd be the best time to, I guess, go into spoilers and go into things like that. But all I'm going to say is, man, it got a little dark at times, and I don't know what it is about the show. I mean, is it the music? Is it the writing, the nostalgia? You know, I think it's all of those things combined, man, because I love the 80s. I'm a sucker for the 80s, man. Music, a lot of the things that happened in the 80s, a lot of things that came out and was popular in the 80s. Just, you know, the 80s is responsible for so much. And I mean, they killed it in all cylinders. I mean, they just did. The writing was excellent as always. If you're just looking for a dope ass show, you know, something that, even if you're not really into that kind of, you know, vibe, because a lot of people I hear that a lot, like, I don't really like the vibe of this, or I'm not into that vibe. I just doesn't, you know, vibe with me. And I thought that about when I first saw it. I thought it was more, you know, of a kid's show when at first glance, but everybody was talking about it, man. And I just said, you know what, let me give it a chance. Let me just at least give it a chance. And it immediately just pulled me in, and I just couldn't stop watching it, from the intro music to, you know, everything about the fucking show. And I fell in love with the series, and I love it. Love all the characters. It's just a great show. And if you haven't seen it, you definitely are doing yourself a great disservice. You need to check that shit out. Period. Point blank. There's some rumors going on out here. Apparently on the, Spanish version of Amazon, there supposedly was a release date leak for Luigi's Mansion 3, and it's slated for, if this is correct, is going to be October 4th. Now, you know, I kind of figured that Luigi's Mansion was going to come out in October. I think in the past, the other games have came out in October, and it makes perfect sense to put it out in October because it's a ghost themed video game. So if you're going to do a game like that, you might as well put it out in October where Halloween is. You know, it just makes sense. I'm surprised that if that is the release date, October 4th, that is that early and not towards the middle or tail end of October. But, you know, hey, the earlier we get it, the better for me. You know what I mean? That's definitely a October pickup for me. And I was going through my list of games, upcoming games, and I was trying to figure out, you know, what games, you know, if you're on a budget like I am, if you have to just get one game, if you can only get one game a month, what games would those be? And the next few months coming, Nintendo has really just stepped their game up. You know what I mean? 6 months ago, I wouldn't be able to name really hardly anything on Nintendo. And now I mean, the next couple of months, man, they're all Nintendo titles. I mean, I digress. I don't know. I mean, I think that's a sign that Nintendo is finally here, in my opinion. Nintendo has finally fucking said, you know, I'm fucking here. They took their dick out, threw it on the table and said, we're here. We're in the building. You know what I mean? With our exclusives. They finally have enough exclusives, if you ask me, to where they can actually, you know, they can do some shit. They can do some real damage. And they have been. Mario Maker 2. I mean, I try not to watch the videos, but man, they're so intoxicating. And I want so bad to fucking play that game. My creative juices, man, they always get to flowing when I see that game, when I see people making levels and shit like that. That's why I have to add it to the library eventually, because, you know, I'm going to have a blast making levels. I'm going to have so much fun with that shit. I mean, that game right there alone, I mean, people have been showing their ass with this game. I mean, Arby's, the restaurant, made their own fucking stage. You have other game developers from famous, you know, gaming companies making their own custom levels. Everybody's having fun. They're having a fucking blast with this game, as it should be. You know what I mean? As it should be. You mean tell me the games that, you know, most of us grew up playing? I know at least I can speak for myself and say this, that now you're able to fucking go and handcraft your own fucking stages. You know what I mean? That's crazy. How can you not say no to that? I mean, if I had more money, Lord knows if I had more money, that I would fucking be doing it. But my money is tied up right now into one game. And then also it's tied up into, you know, the YouTube channel, because you guys, I'm trying to, you know, take that next step for the YouTube channel and give you guys more content and give you content on a daily fucking basis. So right now I'm just stacking up videos until I get to 100. And once I get to 100 videos done and edited and complete, which is real work, by the way, once I get there, then I can commence to dropping content on a daily basis. So whenever you go to, you know, Studio MacGyver TV, you have shit to watch every day. Yeah. So, you know, life happens. We all know that when shit happens like that and you can't get a video out, that's the reason why I'm trying to stack up so many videos. Cause, you know, I want to have content, you know, for days that I'm not able to produce for whatever reason, and, you know, keep the ball moving, keep that algorithm going. So that's my mission. That's what I'm working on. You know, when you're not hearing anything, you know, I'm off in the dark in the back, you know, doing shit like this, trying to prep shit, trying to get shit better and set shit up, you know, always trying to reach that new plateau, always trying to, you know, cross that new mark for you guys. Yeah, that's what I got going on with that. But yeah, Nintendo is in the building, guys. They're here. I don't think they're going anywhere. And it's all good. I mean, I don't have no, you know, objections to it. I'm happy for it. I'm going to go over my, you know, list of games that are coming in the next 3 or 4 months, and games that I'm going to buy personally. And I'm looking forward to, you know, most of these are AAA games that I'm talking about here. But before I do that, I want to talk a little bit about a company who, you know, I've talked about before in the past. And, you know, I feel some type of way about this company because I really love their game, this game that they have, you know, that they're working on. It's just that they're being very, very fucking disrespectful right now. And the game is Biomutant. You guys heard me talk about Biomutant before. If you're new to the, if you're new to the show, then, you know, Biomutant is a game. You know, I really love this game. I mean, so far, everything that I've seen on this game, I mean, it's got its own charm. It's just doing its own thing. It's not like really anything else that I've really seen. And it's an open world single player experience. And, you know, those are my favorite type of game. I mean, that is my favorite genre. And the customization is there. Everything is there. I mean, everything's there. But my issue with this company, which is Experiment 101, the actual developers of this game, they went dark. They were supposed to bring up the game. You know, everybody was looking forward to hearing about the game. And they came to E3 and had the same exact build that they had at Gamescom 2018, which was, you know, nothing has changed. They basically said beforehand that the game was going to come out in the summer, around the summer of 2019. But nothing has been heard from these guys. They just completely went dark. The only thing that they've said online anywhere that I could find is on Twitter. And they basically just said, hey, play our game come to our booth and play our game, which was, like I said before, the same build they had at Gamescom 2018, which is just they have nothing else to show. They do have a small team. I remember that the developers were talking to, I can't remember who they were talking to, but they mentioned that they had a smaller team, literally maybe 20 people working on this game, something like that. So they had their challenges ahead of them. But my problem with that is, at least why not let the fans know? Why not let the people who are anticipating this game, somebody like me who was ready to buy the collector's edition. This is one game I was ready to buy the collector's edition for. Still probably will. But when you have passionate gamers like that for something that you're trying to create, I mean, don't you think it's wise to respond, or at least give us, a word on what's going on? And the only reason why I say that is this, because some people, I can hear people already saying, well, they don't have to tell you when the game is coming out technically or whatever. And that's true. But the reason why I'm so upset with this company and the way they're handling their shit is because they were the ones who basically implemented this recipe. They were the ones who were letting everybody know the game is going to be coming out in the summer of 2019. So they put that seed in our head, and then they just go dark. They don't tell us anything else. Nothing else is said. And that's what gets me. If they didn't say anything about it, if they just said, oh, well, we don't know, we can't put a date on it, we don't know right now, or we can't give that information. Okay, fine. That's different. But when you put out a date, when you put out a time frame, and then when the fans are asking, they're on Twitter asking, and they have questions, and you're not responding to anything that nobody is saying, then that's where I have an issue at. And then if you go to Experiment 101's page on, Twitter, they're not talking about anything about the game either. They're talking about just bullshit. Nothing to do with the game development. So what I think is happening right now is I think they got in over their fucking heads. They may have poured a glass of sake a little bit too high. I usually try to stay, on the bottom side of the glass, but I think these guys got a little loose. Maybe they were feeling themselves at Gamescom 2018. And they decided to pour the glass pretty much all the way to the top. So high to where if you basically touched your lips to the top of the glass, you would definitely taste a nice amount of sake right there. I mean, it's almost to where you could basically just slightly tilt it and you would spill sake. So I think that's what happened with these guys. And then maybe even, one or two of these guys decided to, hey, we've got some ecstasy here. We've got some Molly on the table. Let's crush it up. And, let's roll a scroll too. Let's sprinkle some of this into a scroll. Let's roll it up nice and tight, and let's light one. And I think that, they got beside themselves, and they're a little bit, incapacitated, skied up, high, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I think they've beamed up, and they don't know how to get back down. And now they're sitting there with their dick in their hand, and, they have nowhere to turn. And I think now that fans and certain people who are looking for this game were, starting to question them. In other words, if you can't say anything good, don't say anything at all. And I think they've adopted that recipe, and that's what they're running with right now. But I think it's very, very sad that they're doing it this way. It's kind of disrespectful, borderline disrespectful to the people who are interested in your game and want to know more about your game. The fans, you should not, I think that's not how you're supposed to handle it. Even if you tell us, hey, look, guys, it's taking longer than expected. We can't tell you, right now when it's coming out, but it is still coming. I mean, give us something, but they're not doing that. They have chosen to just stay silent. And, in the end, it's going to hurt more than it's going to help. And if they continue to do this practice this way, it's going to hurt them. So they better stop it. Okay. Put down the sake. Stomp out the scroll onto the ground and walk away. That's what they need to do before it gets, it's getting too shaky, and they need to stop it. But yeah, if you're listening to this podcast, which I'm sure you fuckers are not, but just in case one of you motherfuckers are listening, just take heed to what I'm saying. Just take heed, because you're talking to somebody who wants to buy a collector's edition of this game. And you just can't take those things for granted. If you're a developer, I don't know if, maybe they got a gag order on them. Maybe their parent company, maybe the publisher's not allowing them to, say anything. Who knows what's going on, but we deserve to know something. That's all I'm saying, because they opened that door. They opened that Pandora's box. We did not. Okay. That's reason. I wouldn't have any quarrel with a company who didn't want to divulge any information if they gave us no information from the get-go. If they've answered the question where, well, we're not at liberty to say right now. When we're able to, we will. If they would have gave us an answer like that, then that would be perfectly 110% fine. But that's not how they handled it. And that's why I'm looking at it through this, this lens, if you will. Anyway, get your shit together, Biomutant, before, you turn around and, we might not be there for you. Moving on anyway, we get off of that boat. Now let's tackle the elephant in the room, shall we? That elephant being the Nintendo Switch, or shall I say the Nintendo Switch Lite. Yeah, man, there's been a lot of shit going on, when it comes to this system. There's been a lot of people shitting on it. You know what I mean? And, I don't quite understand that. Nintendo is trying to be smart. Okay, that's what Nintendo's trying to do. What they're trying to do is, they're trying to make their money. Let's keep it real with each other. Let's not run around the mulberry bush. Let's not play lollipop games. Okay, let's keep it real with each other. Let's put the butter back in the cupboard, all right, or back in the refrigerator and close that door tight. We don't want any butter being pulled out, put in the microwave, warmed up. That's where I want to draw the line right there, okay? But they are trying to get their money. And when you look at the specs of this Nintendo Switch Lite compared to the current Nintendo Switch, you can kind of see that it's evident. The Nintendo Switch Lite is basically a handheld system only. It is strictly made and it's basically been created to just be a handheld, to take the place in a sense, to take the place of the 3DS in the future. I say a year from now, that'll be what that is. The screen is slightly smaller than the current Nintendo Switch. Everybody was talking about, how the screen was going to be 1080p, but it's not. It's still 720. You cannot dock it. There's no dock that comes with it. There's no HDMI outputs. So basically that system is basically what you're going to be playing. I mean, it's going to be in the palm of your hand every time you play it. Now, what they did add to this, which I love personally, and I hope Nintendo fucking, catches heed to this, and they probably will. They probably have some prototype right now sitting in the back. But what I love, one thing I do like about the Nintendo Switch Lite is the D-pad. I love the D-pad. Nintendo has always made dope ass D-pads, high quality D-pads. And I just hate the fact that they, for the Joy-Cons, they did what they did. I understand why they did that, because they were trying to sell, being able to play, two players, on the Switch. And that's cool and everything, but I'm a single player kind of guy. I mean, I play every once in a while with my kid, but when it comes to shit like that, man, I mean, we need a D-pad. We need a D-pad, a good D-pad on, some of these Joy-Cons. They're already high as giraffe pussy, price wise anyway for these motherfuckers. So, why not go ahead and give us one of those? But I do like that about the Nintendo Switch Lite. And that's pretty much what you're going to get right there. I mean, you're going to get also, maybe 20% better battery life on that. So that gives you another 30 minutes to another hour, more battery life, that's okay. But for something that is just going to be a portable system, I mean, I think they could have did a lot better. I think they could at least, extended the time by 2.5, 3 hours, at least, because it's a portable only system. You know what I mean? But it's not much better if you ask me. I mean, if you're just a portable player and all you care about is just, having a portable device, then it's going to be perfect for you. It's going to be $100 cheaper. You're not going to be docking it, so it doesn't matter. And it's going to, you still get the games, you still get everything pretty much. You have everything you need. Boom. So you should be cool. Now if you want to stream games and if you want to do stuff like that, then that opens up a whole new door. And that then you're gonna want to look at the Switch, the original, in my opinion, for things like that. Also, the removable Joy-Cons. I mean, if you're a hardcore gamer and you're gonna be playing a shitload of the Switch, especially the Switch Lite, then that might have something to do with maybe trying to go with the original Switch, because if you're going to have a lot of wear and tear on those Joy-Cons, which technically it's not Joy-Cons, they're one piece of the system of the hardware, then, you might want to be worried a little bit about that. Maybe go ahead and invest in some, some thumbstick covers immediately. And then, depending on how much you tag those buttons, I mean, that's another story. Now, I don't know if anybody so far, I can't find anybody at least, who has played the shit out of their Nintendo Switch so bad that they had to replace the new Joy-Cons yet. I mean, I haven't heard anything. I haven't really looked into it either, so I don't really know. But if that's the case, then you might want to look into that. But, I have older systems here I'm looking at right now. I'm looking at a Nintendo DS. I'm looking at my PSP, and those fucking, D-pads and everything are still hitting like they've never hit before, like they're brand new. And then by now, you have kits out there. I mean, eBay has, probably Amazon as well, where, I know the PSP has all the buttons. You can get new fucking, D-pads for it. You can replace all the buttons. And, same thing for the Nintendo DS and 3DS. And I'm sure they'll have something similar for the Nintendo Switch if they don't already by now. So especially for this system, like maybe you want to have some on standby to replace, because by the time they do wear out, the warranty will probably have been gone away and it will be no longer, useful. So then you could open it up and I'm sure there'll be YouTube videos and everybody's experimenting on this stuff. It's going to happen. That's the beauty of, social media. You know what I'm saying? I mean, somebody's always willing to take that next step, that extra step, to dive into what everything is about. And I think that, a year from the time that this game system comes out, which is September 20th of this year, then you will have all those things, for your enjoyment. So I don't think that'll be too much of a problem. And then they have shops like where I stay, there's shops that, will repair your systems, your Switch, your fucking, your PS4, your PS3, like they'll literally fix anything you need to be fixed. I mean, everybody doesn't have that around them, but if you're living and you're in a city like me, then, they're not going to be hard to find. Or if you go hit up Craigslist, you're going to be able to find a guy who can, take care of that stuff for you 9 times out of 10, where you don't even have to send the shit out to somebody to do it or whatever. So, technology and, the times we live in now, man, I mean, that's the beauty of all of this shit, of being a gamer, in 2019 and beyond. I don't know, man. If I had to guess, if I had to choose, I mean, I'm going to go with the original, and I'm going with the original because of the removable Joy-Cons, because of the docking system, because I'm going to keep it real with you guys. When I first bought the Nintendo Switch, I thought I was just only going to be having it in portable mode for the most of the time. I figured that's what it was going to be. But to my dismay, I have been playing it 90% of the fucking time in dock mode. And it's just the way that it happened. I mean, my game room, my man cave, I have all my systems, together. The PS4, PS3, and the Switch. They're all here. And then my, handhelds are, on the shelf somewhere. I'm looking at, on the side of the room. When I want to switch between, usually I'll switch between the PS4 and the Nintendo Switch, HDMI 1 or HDMI 2, and boom, it's there, dock mode. When I played Breath of the Wild, when I first played that, I mean, shit, it's just... to play it on a big screen, I was just like, yo, this is, yeah. I mean, small screen, cool if I had something to do, but I'd rather play that on a big screen. And then also, Nintendo's smart. They're not stupid. They're trying to, leverage, the market. They don't want, of course, they're not going to give everything that the fucking, original had, because then no one would buy the original. So they want to keep the main, the main model, they want to keep that still selling as well. You know what I mean? Because that's part of the appeal for the Nintendo Switch, right? Isn't it? I mean, it's a system that can be portable, and at the same time, you can play it on a big screen. That's the beauty of the Nintendo Switch, in my opinion. Now, with the portable only, that $100 cut, I mean, that's what you're missing out on. You're not going to be able to play it on a big screen. And like I said, it just depends on the player, in my opinion. It's really how the player feels. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of people out there that I've talked to and that I've seen talk about this, and they have no problems with this $200 system. They can't wait till the 20th to roll around because they're portable players. I mean, they depending on what their job is, depending on what they're doing, I mean, that suits them perfectly. And then you have somebody like me who, I'm a homebody by nature. I live in my man cave pretty much. And I have everything at my fingertips, and, it's better for me to play it in the man cave, on the big screen. And the cool thing about it is that if I'm really into something, you know, into a game or something like that, then I could just take it out and take it to bed. I've done that a few times where, you know, I just take it to bed with me or whatever. But, you know, that's about it. It doesn't really leave the house. You know what I mean? Unless I take a trip or something. I very rarely take trips, maybe once or twice a year, if that. So, I mean, it just depends on the player, in my opinion. You know, there's a lot of people that give the shits, you know, that gripe about it and bitch and moan about it. Because they don't like the fact that there's another Switch out here for whatever reason, and I don't understand that. If you have a Switch already, I mean, I wouldn't even worry about it. I mean, you have your system. You can do everything that this Switch can do, and then more. So why even trip? That's how I look at it. You know what I mean? A lot of people also talking about, well, if I did decide to get a portable one, you know, just to have, you know, to take on trips and stuff like that when I leave, how would I, you know, take my saves off of there and put them on to this? Well, supposedly Nintendo's going to have a way for that to work out and happen. More details are going to come out as time goes by. And when that happens, I'll probably be addressing that for you guys. But yeah, there's going to be a way to, you know, I guess somewhere in the cloud, they're going to do something with the cloud. Because right now we know Nintendo needs help with that. And supposedly we're going to get that. We're going to get to handle that. And we shouldn't have to. In other words, if you're worried about that, don't worry about it. That's going to be taken care of. But, you know, me personally, I wouldn't spend another $200 just for another Switch, just so I could just, like I said, I don't travel like that though. So that's just me. But if you're somebody who travels a lot, and it might be worth it to you to do that if you already have one. But, you know, I don't know, man. It's just me. I don't know how I feel about it. I mean, I don't feel any type of way about it at all. I mean, I don't hate it and I don't love it. I mean, it's just, I think it's going to cater to a certain type of person, a certain type of gamer. And I think Nintendo knows that. And I think that they're going to, you know, get a lot of sales off of it. I think it's going to sell a lot of fucking units. And at the same time, I think it's also going to make the original unit sell even more as well, because it's going to make people take a second look at that and be like, well, yeah, but, you know, for the extra $100, man, I could just go on and, you know, get the main one and boom. Because now Nintendo, you know, now that I'm looking at it and thinking about it, man, in my humble opinion, somebody who is an avid Sony, you know, fanboy, somebody who just loves his Sony shit, I think Nintendo has officially arrived as far as, you know, what they can bring to the table AAA game wise. You know, I mainly bought Nintendo for its first party games. You know what I mean? I'm not going to buy Mortal Kombat 11 for the Nintendo Switch when I have a PS4 sitting here. I mean, you know, I don't drink that much sake. I don't smoke that many scrolls. Okay. I bought the Switch because of games like Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 that's just coming out later this week. Next week. I'm buying, you know, Mario Maker, you know what I mean? Breath of the Wild, games like this, Astral Chain. Oh my God, Astral Chain. Games like that is why I bought the fucking Nintendo Switch. And now they're coming in waves. Luigi's Mansion 3. These are the games that I want to play on the Nintendo Switch. And I know I can't get them any fucking where else. And then not to mention, man, they have a shitload of, you know, indie games too, man. A lot of these games are available on all platforms, but some of them are not. I was going through the fucking Nintendo Switch earlier today and last night, and I found a whole bunch of fucking gems. Matter of fact, they have a sale going on right now for a lot of these games, man. If you have a Switch and you don't know, or you haven't played your Switch in a while, you might want to, you know, check that out, because a lot of these deals are going on until like the end of this month, 25th, 26th of this month. Some dope ass games. I mean, I seen one game, I think, man, what's this game? It basically looks like a juiced up version of Super Metroid. And it's only like $1.99. I'm definitely copping that. I think it's called A Robot Named Fight. I think that's the name of the game. The game looks fucking awesome. And if you're into those Metrovania style games, you're going to love this game. This game looks awesome. And I'll definitely add this to the library. $1.99? Come on, man. I mean, and there's other games similar, you know, other games like that are cheap. I mean, under $5. I found easily a dozen games under $5 that looked fucking awesome. And then there's also a shitload of, you know, demos, you know, available too. So you can check out those, and I'm going to jump into that as well. But, you know, we got a lot of shit coming, man. I mean, there's a lot of things to do on the Switch. The only thing I have to invest in is a bigger SD card. That's really what I need to invest in, because with all these games floating around here, I definitely, need to invest in that. I still got plenty of room right now, but I'm just saying, eventually I need to get that 128 gigabyte boy. Oh, well, the biggest one I could get for the Switch. Maybe they have another one. What is the biggest one? Anybody out there know? What's the biggest card you can put into your Switch? I thought it was 128 gigs, but maybe they changed that, and maybe that's not even right. Let me know. Holla at your boy on Twitter at Studio MacGyver or Instagram Studio MacGyver79. And one of those avenues, inbox me. Let me fucking know. Okay, please. Anyway, I don't know. How do you guys feel about the Nintendo Switch Mini or Lite? You know what I mean? Are you guys going to be, anybody listening, going to be buying one? I've already had a couple friends of mine tell me that that's going to be when they take their leap, to the world of Nintendo in September. You know what I mean? And a lot of people are talking about this holiday season. So I got these guys selling a shitload of these, especially around Christmas time. Oh, they're definitely going to be selling a lot of these. A lot of kids going to be getting some of these Switch Lites. Telling you, it's going down. Now, if only Nintendo would, start working on their network, okay? Because that's their weakest point. That's their weakest thing. If I have anything bad to say about Nintendo, it's their online services. That's what I have to say. I mean, and that's exactly why I refuse to fucking get it. The only reason I might get it for 1 month is when I get Mario Maker and, I want to upload all my stages. That's it. That is all. But as far as, getting, to meet new people and other players, you know how big the Nintendo community is? Do you know how fucking huge that community is, man? And we can't talk to each other. We can't make new friends the right way. We got to have friend codes and shit like that. We can't have parties and have chats and parties and shit like that. I mean, that sucks. That fucking sucks. And I think Nintendo, needs to address this, man. I really, really do. But knowing Nintendo, I don't see them fucking even batting an eye at it anytime soon, unless they have something just hidden up their sleeve that nobody knows about. Because if, other developers can do it, Fortnite has done it. Who else has done it? Warframe has done it. It makes no sense why Nintendo won't go ahead and do it. They have their own dedicated servers. Why can't Nintendo do the same? I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me. They're trying to sell us on this stupid ass app on the phone, which is fucking ignorant. It's retarded. It's redundant. But they're stubborn. A lot of these guys, are older and they're set in their ways and they like their sake poured a certain way. They like, a certain amount of sake every night before bed, and they like to roll their scrolls. They like to smoke them. So, until we can get these guys out of the picture, I mean, we might be, staring at this, ugly bitch for a little while longer, but, I'm going to have my fingers crossed. I'm definitely going to say some prayers. I'm going to eat my vitamins and do my push-ups and hopefully, I can say time of these hoes, within a year and they finally wake up, because they've woken up to other things in the past. I mean, as far as content being shared, they used to not do that. They used to, basically shit on YouTubers trying to, basically promote their fucking shit, which is all that's doing. And they finally, got on that boat. So hopefully they get on this other boat and we can actually have a decent Nintendo community without friend codes. I would really love that. That's my thoughts on Nintendo pretty much in a nutshell, especially, when we're talking about the Nintendo Lite. I think it's going to sell. I think it's going to do well. I think it appeals to a certain gamer. And I think it's going to do what it's supposed to do, tackle that audience, tackle that demographic. And I think that's all Nintendo's trying to do. So that's it for that, man. I mean, I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. I'm going to leave you guys with a few anticipated games on the upcoming months that I have my eye on, that are basically day one purchases with the exception of one. And that's only because I don't know if I have enough money. And let's run that down. Let's start off with this month, July. I think we all know, I've spoken about it so many times, even on this podcast, that July 19th can't come any sooner. And the game I will be playing is Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. That's going to be my July purchase. Moving on to the next month, guys, August, the last fucking day of August, actually, is going to be Astral Chain. My most anticipated game on any system this year so far is this game. Okay, Platinum Games is one of my favorite game developers, and they are responsible for this title, and I cannot wait to get into this game. I cannot fucking wait. That's probably going to be the game to make me go ahead and buy a capture card, because I want to cover the fuck out of this game. I love this. I already love this game already. Yeah. Okay. So that's August. And then hopefully between there, I can pick up Mario Maker, because it's the last day of fucking August. You can argue and say September 1st. But now moving on to September, I'm torn. I'm actually torn in September, and I'm torn between two games. Daemon X Machina, which is an awesome game. It looks like it's going to be excellent. And then there's The Surge 2. Yeah, man. I have The Surge 1. I love that game. I love the lore. I love that world. And I'm anxious to see, you know, what we learn in Surge 2, because, you know, there's a lot to be desired from the story, and they left a lot of us wondering or wanting more at the end of The Surge. And they add a lot of new mechanics to The Surge 2. It looks fucking awesome. And that definitely is a game I'm thinking about buying. And, you know, I might wait till Black Friday or something, maybe get a deal on that. Because nowadays, the cool thing about games, guys, a lot of the time, especially when you're dealing with Sony and stuff like that, these games, the prices drop really quick. You know, 2 months, 3 months, then it's already half off. And you can get it for the half price. So, you know, I might wait on The Surge 2 for that. But yeah, these exclusives, though, this Daemon X Machina game looks like it's going to be fucking wet. And then I think the online mode is not even ready for the game yet. So when it first comes out, it's just going to be single player. And then they're going to add, I'm wondering how they're going to do that. Are they going to be working on their own dedicated server, which I hope they do? And I'll learn more about that. But this is a game I'm definitely going to be picking up for sure. And then the last month after that is going to be October. And you guys, that should be a easy answer, and that's going to be Luigi's Mansion. I'm a big Luigi fan. Also, if you guys don't know that, Luigi over Mario all day, every day. And yeah, man. So all those majority are fucking Nintendo Switch titles, as you can see. And that's where we're at right now, man. That's where I'm at right now. And I want to thank everybody for coming out here and listening to this episode of the podcast. And the newcomers, again, I'll say it one more time. Thank you for taking time out of your day, night, whatever, to listen to this podcast and give me a shout, give me a taste. And I hope you like what you heard. And moving forward, we're going to do this. We're going to keep doing it every Monday, like always, like clockwork, baby. If I get enough support, then, you know, I might decide to do, you know, an extra podcast a week. So 2 a week instead of once every Monday. That'd be dope, wouldn't it? With that being said, guys, I'm going to get my ass up out of here. I got some Gundam to watch. And yeah, some hot wings that's calling my fucking name. So you have been listening to Studio MacGyver's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast. See you next time.